Coming up now in your spoiler-free wrestling news rundown, Kenny Omega has levied some serious accusations against Stardom co-founder Rossy Ogawa. We also have news on Matt Hardy's status with TNA Wrestling after broken Matt Hardy returned at Rebellion. And also we've got news on a long-tenured WWE wrestler who could be about to hit the free agency market. All that and more coming up now. Kenny Omega made some very interesting comments about Stardom co-founder Rossy Ogawa in a video game stream on Friday night. Now, Rossy Ogawa, if you're not aware, he is the co-founder of Stardom. He sold that company to Bushiroad. Bushiroad fired him in February, and he has now started the Marigold Dream Fighting promotion, which will feature Julia, and their debut show takes place May 20th at Korakuen Hall. So Kenny Omega, who has a long history with the Joshi scene in Japan, he told listeners to not be so quick to praise Ogawa and said that there's many in the wrestling industry and the government-issued media in Japan who know the truth about him. Here are some of Omega's comments.
There are a lot of people that refuse to work with him for the very same reason. Some of those people are even in WWE. Some of those people are in AEW. And they have a very good reason. It's not just like, yeah, I decided to wake up and not like this guy. If you want to know sort of along what lines they tread amongst, the dude just flat out said, hey, we're looking for girls from like ages 13 to 21 that don't have a boyfriend or aren't married.
It was noted when Marigold put out a press release announcing their promotion, they mentioned that they were looking for new talent. And in the press release, it was noted that they are looking for unmarried females between the ages of 13 and 30 to join the promotion.
We already know that he puts underage girls in very revealing swimsuit calendars and books. And I wish that's all he did. Let's put it away. My only comment, I'm going to say I'm with Asuka. That's it. I'm with Asuka. Always have been. And she got her reasons, and it was probably the same one as mine.
Now, what Omega means when he says, I'm with Asuka, Asuka also has a very long history with the Joshi scene in Japan. She has talked previously about how she feels the Stardom promotion was created to destroy her. Asuka's issues with the Joshi wrestling scene in Japan was the over-sexualization of wrestlers and the focus on how they looked rather than how they performed in the ring. We also know that Asuka has had problems with other executives from Stardom. Omega's comments might shed a little bit more light on Tony Khan's very public dislike of Ogawa. When Bushiroad fired Ogawa in February, this was something Tony Khan openly celebrated, putting out tweets such as those up on your screen right now. And Khan has said that the relationship between AEW and Stardom has improved greatly since Ogawa has left the company. So how these allegations against Ogawa play into the upcoming war, if you want to call it that, between Marigold and Stardom, as well as how it factors in to AEW versus WWE, with WWE having the relationship now with Marigold, while AEW continues its relationship with Stardom. We'll just have to see how that all shakes out. And Swerve Strickland made history at AEW Dynasty. He beat Samoa Joe to win the AEW World Championship, and he achieves his goal that he has stated so many times. He is now the first ever African-American world champion in AEW history. And he spoke at the post-event press conference a little about what this means to him. And some of his comments are up on your screen now, and these transcriptions are courtesy of 411 Mania. He said, I wasn't going to settle for anything less. I think I was offered opportunities at the AEW International title, and I turned it down. I'm like, no disrespect to what Orange Cassidy was doing at the time with the International Championship, but I can't settle for less. And I want to shoot for the top, and that's how everybody's mindset should be in this business. That's how everybody's mind is in AEW. We want to shoot for the top. We want to go to the main event. We want to fight and grind. We've got 5 matches tonight that could have been the main event. That's how competitive we are. That's how special this roster is. And so I've got to have that mindset to push even further. I can't settle for less because nobody else is. He also spoke about being the first African-American AEW World Champion and what that means to fans out there watching him. He said, I think this one moment sends many messages to everybody. Primarily, it's possible. It can be done, but it's not easy. Like I kept saying this throughout the week, through all these media and interviews I was doing, what happens if this doesn't work out? I don't win the championship. Well, push it down the road. We got to wait for a bigger moment. We got to push it down the road again. That's happened several times in history, and pushing it down the road results to missed opportunities. It never happens, and I've seen that way too many times as a kid growing up. I'm sure you have too, and I'm sure a lot of other people have. They've seen opportunities for us pushed down the road, want to build it to something bigger around the corner, and boom, injuries. Boom, somebody else gets the opportunity in front of them. Boom, that person's not as hot as they were before, and the timing was missed. And boom, that person, you never see or hear from them again. They're police, fired, gone somewhere else, and that moment just flickered. When it's our moment, we have to take it. That's the message I've been wanting to send. That's why I came out in the outfit that I wore. He was wearing like a Black Panther inspired gear. Very cool. I'm not coming to be rewarded with the crown and the throne. I'm here to take it. That's what we have to do. We have to take it. The Young Bucks also became the first team to win the AEW World Tag Team titles on 3 occasions at AEW Dynasty on Sunday. They needed a little help, however, from a returning Jack Perry. So this was Jack Perry's first appearance in the promotion since All In last summer when he was involved in a backstage altercation with CM Punk. Tony Khan spoke about Jack Perry's return to the promotion at the post-event press conference on Sunday night. Khan said, I think Jack Perry's return got a lot of excitement and got a huge reaction. Again, I mentioned we were in Chicago. It was a great night for the company when Jon Moxley became the IWGP World Champion. And he's referring to Windy City Riot a week ago last Friday. He said, I got to watch Jack Perry's return to American wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He got a massive star reaction at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Windy City show, and I think he's been doing great work in New Japan Pro Wrestling. When you go over to do an excursion and have a great run like he had in the New Japan Cup and a great performance like he had against Shota in Chicago, I think that had a lot to do with it. And he is referring to, of course, the airing of the backstage altercation footage involving him and CM Punk. So Tony Khan feels that the airing of that footage, whatever backlash it got from some fans, it pulled a great rating, and it also helped turn Jack Perry into an arguably bigger star. And also at AEW Dynasty, Willow Nightingale defeated Julia Hart for the TBS Championship. Clean victory. Julia Hart is said to be dealing with some injuries, so she might be taking a little bit of time off to heal up. But Willow Nightingale is your new TBS champion, and Mercedes Moné came out to confront her after the match. So their match is now official for AEW Double or Nothing, Nightingale to defend against Moné. It was also noted by Tony Khan on the AEW Dynasty post-event media scrum that Mercedes Moné was not cleared for AEW Dynasty, but they do believe she will be ready for Double or Nothing later next month. And on other AEW injury news, Adam Cole stood up out of his wheelchair during AEW Dynasty last night. However, the word is that he is not cleared to get back in the ring, and his return is not expected to happen imminently. However, he is walking, so it does appear as though he is on the road to recovery, and it might not be that much longer, but it's not going to be anything immediate. It was also a big weekend for TNA Wrestling as they held their Rebellion pay-per-view from Las Vegas on Saturday. They got up over 1,000 tickets distributed to the show. They had a good atmosphere in there, and several big names from TNA's past returned on the show. Most notably, Broken Matt Hardy returned at the end of the show. He was the advertised lights out surprise. So after the world title match between Moose and Nick Nemeth, the lights went out. When they went back on, Broken Matt Hardy was in the ring. He delivered a twist of fate to Moose, and the show concluded with Hardy holding up the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So we have a few updates on Matt Hardy's status with TNA Wrestling. Shortly after the show finished airing, Hardy did clarify on X that he is still a free agent. He has not signed an exclusive deal with TNA Wrestling. he is still free to negotiate with AEW, WWE. So he wrote on Twitter here, "No, I'm a free agent. I will appear when I want to appear." Also at TNA Rebellion, we saw Sami Callihan return to the promotion. He, of course, is a former TNA World Champion, and he helped Knockouts champion Jordan Grace fend off interference from the Good Hands in her match against Steph DeLander on the show. So Sami Callihan back in TNA wrestling as well. Also back is Mike Santana. Mike Santana, of course, we know is no longer with AEW, has been motivated to go on a singles run, which of course led to the dissolution of his tag team with Ortiz. Santana came out and he wrestled an impromptu match against Steve Macklin and picked up the win. So Santana, we know he has really wanted to prove himself as a single star. It looks like he's going to get the chance to do that in TNA wrestling. He also participated in the TV tapings with TNA the following night, which were also held in Las Vegas. I haven't heard many people discussing this story, but I think it's worth mentioning. Lots of people in WWE are noting that the company is getting closer down to the wire in terms of negotiating new contracts with several of their big name talent. Another name that was mentioned as having her contract coming up soon is Natalya, who is the company's longest tenured female wrestler on its roster. So this is from Fightful. Fightful wrote, "In recent months, it's been reported that Drew McIntyre, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and others have their deals coming up much sooner than would typically be the case before negotiating. In addition, we're told that Natalya's WWE deal is also up within the next couple of months, and talks have not taken place between the two sides." So that's pretty interesting considering the role Natalya has played in the rise of the women's divisions in WWE, in addition to the stuff she does on screen and in the ring for the company. She's helping to train wrestlers at the Dungeon 2.0 and has also been described often as like a player coach for the division. So is Natalya going to re-sign with WWE? It's hard to imagine her leaving. But with AEW out there and with AEW throwing around major league money, who knows what could happen? And WWE released 5 wrestlers from its roster on Friday. Those wrestlers are Jinder Mahal, Xia Li, Zion Quinn, and Indu shares Veer Mahan and Sangha. So Sangha posted a video addressing his WWE release. And he was a little critical of the company, saying that WWE wants to bring in revenue from India, but now currently does not have any athletes from the country on its roster. So some transcriptions and translations of Sangha's comments are up on your screen now. He said, "There is a little pain in my heart when it comes to viewership. You want viewership from our country, India. Viewership on Facebook is needed from India. Viewership on YouTube is needed from India. Viewership on TV is needed from India. But when it comes to talent of India, they are not taking you forward. Whatever you are thinking, it is okay. Creatives have their own way of working, but you should understand that we are saddened by the fact that our 1.4 billion people, like you, people like us, they want their country, India, to have athletes who work at the international level, but you are not ready to give opportunities." We've got a bunch of injury updates. Becky Lynch mentioned during a recent media appearance that Seth Rollins has undergone knee surgery. It's not clear how much time he is going to miss, but you might remember back in January, Rollins revealed that he had been diagnosed with a grade 2 tear of his MCL and a torn meniscus in his left knee. He was out of action for about 2 months, but did come back to work the WrestleMania program with Drew McIntyre and, of course, Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Roman Reigns. However, it looks like he's now getting that injury addressed, and he's going to be out for some time. There's no timetable for his return. Also, PW Insider is reporting that Drew McIntyre is working through an injury. He is said to have a badly hyperextended elbow, and the injury occurred during his match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So McIntyre's not going to miss any time. However, he is working through an injury. Cruz del Toro of the LWO is also going to be out of action for an undisclosed period of time. He posted a photo to Instagram on Thursday revealing that he just had surgery. It looks like the injury has something to do with his arm, but we don't know the exact thing that he's dealing with, and there's also no timetable for his return. Last week, we mentioned that Yo has been removed from the Best of the Super Juniors tournament as a result of the shoulder injury he suffered in his match against Sho at Sakura Genesis. He is being replaced by someone with a decorated history in the Best of the Super Juniors, and it will be Kushida who replaces Yo in the tournament. Kushida was the winner of the Best of the Super Juniors in 2015 and 2017. He also went to the finals in 2014. And another injury, Yuka Sakazaki was injured on Rampage. Rampage this week aired immediately after Collision. It was a live show on Saturday night that you may not have seen because, boy, there's a lot of wrestling these days. But she was wrestling Emi Sakura. Early in the match, she went for a springboard move off the top rope, but landed awkwardly to the outside. She came up limping and was favoring her leg throughout the remainder of the match. Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer website that her leg injury is legit. As of this morning, the exact injury and its ramifications weren't clear. She did gut her way through the match, but the injury did change things. So, wow, Yuka Sakazaki, she really gritted through her performance there on Saturday night. She had just returned to AEW for the first time in over a year earlier this month. It's not clear how long she's going to miss or if she's going to miss any time. We'll keep you updated on her status. And just one more thing before we finish off this video. We have an extra special message from Deathmatch Wrestling legend GCW's Nick Gage. Take it away, Nick.
It's the man, the king, the god of this shit, Nick fucking Gage. And shout out to all my trans people. Because trans people are human beings. So if you want to fuck with anybody that's trans, you're fucking with me. And if you fuck with me, you know what happens to you. And you already know what it is. It's MDK all fucking day.